Good morning, Career Academy. I am here with Miss Mary Hess, and my name is CJ, and I'm going to interview her today. It's great to have you, Ms. Hess.
Thank you.
My first question for you is, what are the most common medical issues you see among students in Fort Wayne Community Schools? And how do your nurses handle them on a daily basis?
Well, it depends a little bit on what kind of school you're in. We definitely see more injuries in the elementary just because they have recess. And so that's the nature of the beast. Probably more illnesses at certain times of the year. So we get into flu season, a lot of sickness. So it's a pretty big variety. And what I tell new nurses that come to Fort Wayne Community Schools is they can expect a very broad scope of practice, a little bit of everything, most of it manageable, and every once in a while something exciting that needs somebody beyond just nurses.
Oh, yeah. So my next question is, how has the role of school nurses changed since the COVID-19 pandemic? And what new protocols are still in place today?
COVID absolutely did change a lot of things in the medical world, including school nursing. So probably the biggest thing was everybody getting comfortable with masks, right? We all had to do it for a while, but we still sometimes need to do that. So when people are sick, the best thing we can do is exactly what we did in COVID, separate them from people who are well. I think we pay more attention to that than we used to.
Yeah.
And if someone's coughing or has a fever, we might ask the person who's sick to put on a mask to kind of protect those around. So I think those are the biggest changes. People are a little more cooperative about that than they used to be.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, okay. So, like, what kind of training do Fort Wayne Community Schools nurses receive to handle mental health concerns in addition to physical health issues?
Mental health is a big thing, and it can be sneaky for us because most of the time when people come to us, they come for a physical complaint, and nurses kind of have to be on guard to look for something that's happening regularly, something that might indicate that the person has something emotionally or mentally going on too, and then be ready to ask the right questions. We do some certifications. We do, it's called mental health first aid is one of the certifications the nurses have. But then we try to make referrals to the people who are experts at dealing with those issues. Our school therapists, sometimes therapists out in the community. Certainly we involve parents to make sure that they're in the loop.
So can you describe a challenging medical situation in a school setting and how your team successfully responded to it?
We have lots of challenging ones, and you and I spoke in the past a little bit about some of the public health emergencies that we have because it involves so many people. A public health emergency would be when someone has a communicable disease that could affect others in the setting. So of course the people that are affected are our main focus, but honestly the most difficult to manage in this situation are what I call the walking well. People who really weren't exposed and probably aren't getting their information as quickly as those who were involved, but they're scared and they want to know. So I had to learn to manage that early on, and so did my team. We had a case of bacterial meningitis that affected a school once. The thing that was most challenging about that was we had a very short timeline where we had to respond with the treatment in order to have that be effective. It was a big deal. Our local health department, our state health department, and even CDC were involved in that. And we ended up giving a lot of medication to people to prevent them from getting the illness. So it was a big deal.
Well, could you, like, referring back to like the question about like the public health thing, could you refer, like, what was that disease? Was that tuberculosis? Or?
That particular disease was bacterial meningitis. We have had some tuberculosis from time to time. We just have a lot of people from a lot of places. When you have someone who's contagious with tuberculosis, you actually have some time to respond because most people don't get sick right away from that. They bury it deep in their body and it kind of sneaks out when their health is poor and they're vulnerable. So at least we have some time to identify who got exposed and what we should do about that.
Like the next steps into further testing?
Yep.
Testing? Okay, my last question for you is, as you look toward retirement, what legacy do you hope to leave behind and what advice would you give to the next person in your role?
I would say I'm most proud of the fact that we really did grow the nursing team here at Fort Wayne Community Schools. When I first came to the district back in the dark ages, we had 16 school nurses and we currently have 39.
Wow.
And then we also have some health aides, some community partner nurses. And when you look at the whole team, including subs, we have 70 people that are on our team. Wow. So I really feel like that serves our kids, which is the whole purpose. It's not to have a big team, it's to make sure kids get what they need. And if I was going to give advice to the next health and wellness director, it would be stay focused on what matters, and that is kids first, staff second, and the rest of it really probably doesn't matter as much as we worry about.
Oh, yeah. Well, that was all my questions. Thank you for your time, and thank you for the great interview.
My pleasure.